Linda Holtzman, Holtzman. I'm in Philadelphia. I knew Emet because I was on the faculty of the Reconstructionist Rabbinical College, where Emet was a student.
And you were Emmett's academic advisor.
Correct. I have impressions of Emet if I went into the student lounge where Emet was. Emet was always, really always connecting with everybody in there. Emet was bright. I mean that in an actual physical, literal way. Emet was bright. So Emmett's hair was bright. Emmett's everything. So my first overwhelming impression was probably kind of a rainbow of just yeah, whatever, wherever, whatever I was looking at in the student lounge, Emet was right there in the center, very much like just a presence, kind of a bright presence. Well, I was not one of the organizers of that effort. I was a recipient of the organizers. And I was someone who took Emet seriously and took Emet's health seriously and wanted to make sure that Emet thrived and knew how much Emet really, 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 really wanted to become a rabbi. And I saw as one of my goals, helping Emet move from where they were, which was not exactly the beginning of the program, somewhere in the very early middle of the program, probably. And getting from there to a place where the rabbinate was possible, even if Emet wasn't going to live for that long. So I was someone who I helped make sure that students all knew that Emet was in hospice and have students sign up to visit. I was a regular visitor. I got to know lots of the people who were there kind of caretaking. I was not a primary caretaker, but I got to know those who were. And if there were particular issues or something that came up and people needed to talk, I was sometimes the person they would talk to, even though I wasn't the primary caretaker, because this is not that surprising. Emet was taken care of by human beings, and human beings are complicated folk. Sometimes I could be helpful with some of those complications. The other role that I wound up having was that Emet's family and Emet had a real but challenging relationship. And I tried, I was, because of a range of things, I don't know, because I was older and they trusted me, because I was on the faculty of RRC and they trusted me, because I don't know why, but I was able to talk to Emet's family and be there for them and kind of help bridge that, like what needed bridging, and keep them moderately calm. Moderately being the key word. They were not calm, but moderately calm, and to kind of, yeah, to just help that along some.
I think it was a really remarkable effort
Yeah, I
around
think so
Emmett.
too.
It has stuck with every single one of us. I've talked to 20 people, and every single one, it stuck with them in a way that transformed them.
I would say that that's true for me, and I think that that was probably true for a lot of RRC. I remember the center for me. So when Emmett died or was dying and was in hospice, and lots of us were visiting pretty regularly. The hospice down on South Street, the one down near the Penn Hospice, which is a great hospice. I love that hospice. There, and then later moving up to Chestnut Hill, which was a sweet hospice, not quite as good, but like it was what it was. But while they were down there and they decided to do the living funeral, that's the piece that stuck with me, that Emmett had talked to me about wanting a funeral, and had talked to me while Emmett was still at home, still in their house. I remember visiting in their house, and they also had, like, I would go in and visit, and there would be 2 or 3 people coming and going over the course of my being there. Emmett really, I think, organized by sheer force of will.
That's the other thing that's come up for every person we talked to is Emmett was an incredibly skilled organizer who out-organized all of us on his deathbed.
Without any question. The fact that I would go there and there would be 2 or 3 different people coming or going or taking the dog out for a walk or doing, like, it was remarkable. I've not seen anything else like it.
The reason I'm doing this project is to show it as an example of Care Network by and for disabled people, and
Yes.
kind of
Yeah.
as a model of what can be done, a dugma chaya, like a living
Yeah,
example
no,
of what can be
definitely.
done.
Definitely. And the sad thing to me, and I want to tell you the story of the living funeral from my vantage point. That's the piece that for me was solidified extraordinary Emmett. And that made me ready to very much take personal risk for Emmett and do whatever was needed. It just felt really important.
I'm getting an image of you at a Kahila committee meeting, which is kind of a strange thing to read. It's like this, it's a committee.
It's not a real committee if you don't have more than 2 people.
That's kind of interesting about that committee, right? That you were on the committee, and often there wouldn't be very many people there, and every time you came to a meeting, I loved the meeting. And I love the meeting because you were real and you were honest and you were thoughtful and you said what you meant, and you were nice to everybody there all the time, no matter who it was. And like, talk about amazing skills for a rabbi and for a human being. I just both learned a huge amount from you in that, and also what I'm learning right now is that if I want to wear shoes that look like that, I can just do it.
Hell yeah.
You know, like really, yeah.
Sparkly unicorns.
Emet, I'm thinking about.
Bezim Raya